Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Like, day camps and service, so if I want them to do a drop today at $60, yes. If I do this camp and service, $45.
Oh.
Testing.
Here's an albino. No.
That's what I said.
I'm just gonna clip it like.
Could I hold it?
You can hold it if you want to, or you can just clip it on the tip.
It works. It's good.
Yeah. Will it just connect onto the phone?
As long as this light is green still, solid green means you're good.
Okay. I'm gonna go. What? There you are. Thank you. Let's go. And here we go, Raiders against Grizzlies. This is going to be a good game. Starting goalies is 29 on the Raiders and Kellen for the Grizzlies. This will be a good one.
Hey guys, you sit on the right or left side? No, we're trying to have a record, Brian. I'm trying. Why does he look like that?
Grizzlies and Raiders warming up, and get ready for the first period to start. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go, Grizzlies. Here we go. Let's do this, Grizzlies.
What's it doing? Oh, to the players? Maybe it's like in somebody's like. It might be like in somebody's. Oh no, it's on. Yeah, I can see the screen. It's just like it's very hard to see.
Here we go. Face off. Won by Ethan Tucker. Now Bladen chips it for Ethan. Now Alessia.
Come on, ladies, let's go!
Here we go. Miles on the breakaway. Shoots. Save. Now the Raiders come up with it on the other side. Raiders into the corner. Bradley fighting for it with them. Bradley skates out with it. Gets it to Beckett. Beckett goes through. Beckett on the breakaway. Shoots. Scores! Beckett rips it. First goal goes to the Grizzlies. Here we go. Face off. Won by the Grizzlies. Now Miguel going to it. Miguel chips it up. Now the Raiders handle it. Now Miguel back with the puck. Miguel comes in, shoots. Saved by the Raiders goalie. Here we go. Face off down the Raiders zone. Here we go. Face off. Won by the Grizzlies. Back to Bradley. Bradley shoots just wide. Now the Raiders chips it up. And that's going to be a nice. Oh, wait. Never mind. Now the Raiders get it in front, tipped wide, and Kellen will freeze that. End the play there. Face off down the Grizzlies zone. Here we go. 1-0 Grizzlies. Face off. Won by the Grizzlies. Back to Bryce. Bryce chips it up. Raiders with the steal. Bryce fighting for it. Now the Raiders come out with it behind the Grizzlies net. Stolen by Bryce. Bryce chips it to Hendrick. Hendrick, and that's going to be an ice. That's icing against Grizzlies. Face off won by the Raiders, but Bryce tries to steal it. Now the Raiders shoot, tries to tip, but it doesn't get towards the net. Now Raiders in front. That might be freeze. Nope. Now Rye Chips it up. Now skating for it is the Raiders. Taylor with the pressure. Now the Raiders at center. Chips it in, no offside. Fights for it, now stealed by Hendrick. Drops it, now the Raiders with the steal. Gets it, tries to get it in front, but it doesn't go anywhere. Bryce with the stick check up to Hendrick. Hendrick. Pressured by Denzel. Skating around. Now the Raiders at center. Raiders tried to get around. Raiders in their own zone. And now Raiders come the other way. Tries to go through Alessia, doesn't get anywhere. Now Grizzlies headed the other way. Luke Tucker goes into one goal. There's two scores! Luke Tucker with the second goal of the game. Grizzlies 2-0. Here we go. Face off at center. Won by the Grizzlies. Grizzlies chips it back to Alessia. Now Luke slaps it up, tries to get it to Miles, but that's probably going to be icing. Icing against the Grizzlies. Never mind, no Grizzlies. No icing. Now it's Alessia. Chips it in. Raiders behind their own net. Miles fighting for it. Now Alessia gets it. Ethan sends it toward the net, doesn't get anywhere. Raiders with the steal, tries to get it. Bladen does not know where it is. Now the Raiders come up with it. Sends it into center. Luke in his own zone for the Grizzlies. Chips up to Miles. Miles to Ethan. Ethan with Bladen. Pass in front, tipped in by their own player, and they score. And the Grizzlies with the 3-0 lead. Raiders are not happy with that. Face off, won by the Grizzlies. Back to Bradley. Bradley tries to get it to Micah. Now the Raiders in their own zone. Gets it to center. Nope, never mind. Bradley grabs it. Now the Raiders coming the other way. Raiders. Stolen by Bradley. Bradley tries it up. Couldn't get to it. Raiders now. Tries to get in front. They can't yet. Now they get it too. Shoots. Saved by Kellen. Good block, a save by Kellen. Now up to Beckett. Beckett couldn't reach it. Now Raiders fighting for it. Beckett goes after it. Beckett. Now Bradley. Bradley tries to get in with it. Couldn't. Bradley going all the way. Stops. Shoots. Just blocked. Now Harris lets it go. Tries to tip, but it doesn't get anywhere, and that's a freeze by the Raiders. Face off down in the Raiders zone. Here we go. Face off. Won by the Raiders. Raiders behind their own net. Raiders chips it up. Now Raiders try to get it stolen by Hendrick. Hendrick shoots it. That was tipped down. Now Hendrick gets it again. Now Denzel fighting for it. And now it's chipped down by the Raiders. Bryce grabs it. For the Grizzlies. Bryce again. Tries to get it over, but the Raiders with the steal. Raiders go through one player. Shoots. Saved by Kellen. And that gets up. Now the Raiders have it. Raiders over in the Grizzlies zone. Tries the wraparound. Doesn't get anywhere. Raiders. Pass it across. In front. Shoots. Blocked by Rylan. Now Hendrick. Now Taylor deep. Gets it to Hendrick. Hendrick chasing after it. Now the Raiders with the steal. Raiders at center. Skates up with it. Fighting in at center. Fighting for the puck. And now the Grizzlies come out with it. Denzel gets knocked down. Now Hendrick shoots, and that's going to be freezed by the Raiders goalie. Here we go. Face off down in the Raiders zone. Won by the Raiders. Raiders behind their own net. Chips it up. Now the Raiders get it. Backhands it. Now that's to Alessio. And now the Raiders with the steal. Chips it in. And the Grizzlies control. Stolen by the Raiders. Raiders behind the Grizzlies net. Centers to the D. Couldn't get anywhere. Miles chasing after it. Couldn't get to it. Tries to chip it up. Can't get to it either. Now Luke, their captain, skating up for the Grizzlies. Chips it ahead. Ethan skating for it. And I think I was offside. Offside against the Grizzlies. Face off just outside of the Raiders zone. Face off. Won by the Grizzlies back to their captain. He chips it in, and I think that's going to be icing. No icing. Waved off. Now Bladen behind their own net. Tries to center it, but doesn't get anywhere. Raiders. White Mud's winning. And here we go. White Mud getting it. Stolen by the Raiders. Back to White Mud's D. Chips it for Luke. Now Luke tipped it. Now Bladen skating into the Raiders zone. Tries to go through one. Couldn't get to it. Bladen fighting for it. Gives it to Ethan. Ethan shoots. Saved by the Raiders goal. Face off down in the Raiders zone. Here we go. Face off. Won by the Raiders. Stolen by Miguel. Now Beckett. Pass in front. Doesn't get to it. Now Bradley has it. Chips it. And that gets to Micah. Micah fighting for it for the Grizzlies against two Raider players. Now the Grizzlies come out with it. Chipped in. Now the Raiders with the steal. Raiders going up ice. Can't get it. Micah fighting for it. Micah. 1-on-2 in the zone. Passes it. In front. No. Doesn't get anywhere. Oh. And it's chipped out. Bradley skating for it. And no icing. The Raiders have it behind the Grizzlies zone. Gets in front. Shoots. Saved by Kellen. Face off in the Grizzlies zone. Face off in the Grizzlies zone. Won by the Grizzlies. Raiders with the steal. Bryce chips it up. Couldn't get to it. Now fighting for it is Hendrick for the Grizzlies. Chips it. Now Bryce chips it back up. Hendrick fighting for it. Now it's Pearson fighting for it. And it's back behind the Grizzlies net. Bryce goes around one Raider player. Now Hendrick gets it to Denzel. Denzel lost it at center. Now Hendrick fighting for it. Now it's Denzel fighting for it with the Raiders. Denzel skating up. Denzel going all the way. Passes it in front. Stolen by the Raiders. Now Bryce chips it in. Chasing after it is Denzel. The Raiders pass it. Raiders couldn't get to it. Rye with the steal. Ryan smacks it in. No icing. And Raiders fighting for it. Raiders gets it over. That was chipped.
What's that?
And their captain, Luke,
Monday.
he's skating with
I'll
it.
try you. I'm going to fucking run off the dog.
Couldn't get it. Now the Raiders. New shift out for the Grizzlies. Raiders going in. Penalty on the Grizzlies, and that is going to be it. Tripping against their captain.
How much time did I fail though? Twice in the last question. My mom won't let me go. And she said, I need to pass it.
And the Grizzlies go short-handed against the Raiders.
I might just go and say this.
Here they go. And now the Raiders with it at defense. Shoots. Oh, that was blocked. Now Ethan Tucker chasing out one of the Raiders players. Raiders lose it. Ethan Tucker going with it. Couldn't get to it. Now that might be an ice against the Raiders. Nope. Alessia gets there. For the Grizzlies, Alessia chips it. And that's a clear for the Grizzlies. Miles chasing it. And the Raiders go with it. Give it up to the Raiders. And then Bryce tries to ice it down, couldn't get to it. Now Raiders chip it back in, and that's clear for the Grizzlies. And the Raiders chip it up. Couldn't get to it.
I don't know. I've never tried to grab before.
Now the Raiders back in their own zone.
I've backed out of the drive.
And now stolen by Beckett. Raiders in their own zone. Chips it ahead. Miguel with the steal. No, Raiders. 1-on-2.
Like the one time I drew.
Raiders go in. Shoots. Saved by Kellen. Big blocker save for Kellen. Now the Whitemud with the steal. Chips it up, and that's Raiders in their own zone. Chips it across. Raiders chip it up. Couldn't get to it. Blocked by Harris. Beckett fighting for it. Now it's a 1-on-1. Pass it across. Raiders couldn't get to the shot. That's amazing defense by Bradley. Now the Raiders passes it back and forth. D to Winger. Now back to Winger. And their captain's back on. And Bradley hucks it to Luke. Their captain out of the box. Comes in, shoots. Saved by the Raiders goalie. Face off down in the Raiders end. Here we go. Face off. Won by Grizzlies. Chips it up. Raiders with the steal. Raiders skating really fit. Bryce catching up to him. Bryce checking. Couldn't get over it, but save. Now the Raiders fighting for shoots. Just wide for the Raiders. Raiders fighting for it. Raiders behind the net. Grizzlies are fighting for a harsh. Now the puck is chipped down from the Grizzlies. Raiders chip it up. And the defense are there. Hendrick fighting for it. Gives it to Denzel. Denzel to Micah. And it might just be offside. And now and Ryland. Raiders in their own zone. Raiders skating down, shoots, saved by Kellen. Grizzlies fighting for it in their own zone. Passes it up. Hendrick going for it. Hendrick. And now Raiders chip it behind their net. Raiders chip it up. That's a giveaway. Now Alessia. Alessia passes to Taylor. Taylor centers, stolen by the Raiders. Raiders skating the other way. No offside. And that's stolen by the Grizzlies. Alessia tries to chip it. Bladen fighting for it, chips it. And they're going to wave off the icing. Raiders behind their own net. Pressured by Miles. Stolen, Luke Tucker. Luke Tucker chips it in. And now Raiders in their own zone. Stolen by Ethan Tucker. Gives it to Miles. Miles gives it to Ethan. Back to Miles. Raiders chip it up. They couldn't get to it. Now Ethan. Ethan. Passes to Miles. Miles in front. Couldn't get to the shot. 40 seconds left in the period. Raiders chip it around their net. Bladen, centering pass for Miles. Miles going through. And who's tripped up? No penalty for that one. Now Luke. Now Raiders. Raiders chips it up. That's going to be... never mind. No icing. Grizzlies have it. Tried to get it to Miles. Couldn't get there. And that's offside for the Raiders. And face off won by the Grizzlies. Now Bradley has it for the Grizzlies, chips it. And the Raiders stolen, and that's going to be halftime. Grizzlies with a 3-0 lead. I have to hold it in my sweater because my hands are so sweaty. Can I get a microphone? Huh? Hello? Hello? Here we go. Face off. At center. Face off. Face off. Fighting for it at center. Holy. There we go. Harris tries to chip it up. Bradley tries to get into it. Michael fighting for it. Now Bradley with it again. Bradley gets it to Miguel. Miguel skating for it with Beckett. Passes it to Beckett. Beckett tries it. Doesn't get to it. Raiders chips it. Now Bradley chips it in. And that is I don't know what the call is for. That's offside against the Grizzlies. Here we go. Face off. Won by the Grizzlies. Micah going around. Couldn't get to it. Raiders fighting for it. And now the Raiders chip it up. Bradley chips it. Now that's an ice by the Raiders. Here we go. Face off. Won by the Raiders. Raiders behind their own net. Raiders coming around, chips it. Raiders chip it up to the clear. 2-on-1. Raiders try to get to it, but that is chased by Riley. Now the Raiders getting around. And now Riders behind the Grizzlies net. Chipped up. Hendrick fighting for it. Hendrick going with it. Gets knocked down on the boards. Here we go. Raiders up. Chips it up. Stolen by Ryland. Fighting for it is the Grizzlies. Ryland chips it. Couldn't get to it. Fighting for it at the Grizzlies blue line. Denzel chips it in. We're winning 3-0. And fighting for it, Bryce knocked down. And now the Raiders. Raiders on the breakaway, shoots. Saved by Kellen. What a save. Now Taylor chips it to Denzel. Denzel skating in. Denzel shoots. Tries to tip by Hendrick. Just went over the net. And now the Raiders chip it. And that's going to be icing against the Raiders. Icing against the Raiders. Face off in the Raiders zone. Taking it is Ethan Tucker. Ethan. Now Raiders win the face off. Raiders come around their net. Swerve in front. Raiders going in. And now Alessia. Now Luke. Luke skating with it. Passes it over. Tries to get it to Bladen. Couldn't. Raiders with the steal. Raiders in their own zone. Chips it up. Blocks by Miles. Return. Ethan with a shot. Backhanded by Miles. Just misses wide. Now Raiders come the other way. Chip it up to their D. Raiders come. Raiders. In front. Scores. Raiders with their goal. (3-1) Grizzlies. Face off at center. Won by the Grizzlies. Raiders with the steal. Raiders. Now stolen by Miguel. Miguel fighting for it. Miguel shoots. Hits the post. So close. Micah. Pass it across. Just missed by Beckett. Now Miguel chips it in. Couldn't. Micah fighting for it. Gets tripped up. No penalty for that. Micah chipped up. Harris knocked down. Now Beckett chips it into their zone. Chipped up by the Raiders. Now Bradley chips it to Beckett. Now Miguel gives it to Beckett. Beckett shoots. Glove saved by the Raiders goalie. Close chance for the Grizzlies there. Face off down in the Raiders zone. Face off. Won by the Raiders. Raiders flick it back. Raiders behind their net. Grizzlies with the steal. Denzel fighting for it. Denzel gets tripped up. Stolen by Ryland. Ryland gets knocked down. Stolen by Denzel. Denzel shoots. Save. Rebound open. Backhander. Save. Oh my goodness. That was close. Now Bryce with the steal. Chips it in. Stolen. Raiders up the other side. Raiders go through 1/3. Gets in. Shoots. Saved by Kellen. Close one for the Raiders there. 3-1 Grizzlies. Here we go. Face off. Won by Raiders. Raiders, let it go. Just misses wide. Raiders in the Grizzlies corner. Raiders tried to get through, couldn't. Raiders pass it across. They ice it for themselves. Miles chasing it. Face off down the Grizzlies zone. That was icing by the Grizzlies. Here we go. Face off. Won by the Raiders. Stealed by Luke Tucker. Chips it around. Raiders with the steal behind their net. Fighting for it is Alessia. Luke chips it up. Miles fighting for it. Raiders come out with it, chip it into the Grizzlies zone. Alessia chips it. Bladen gets it to Ethan. Now Miles coming in. Passes in front, couldn't get to it. Now Miles gets it. That's rimmed around. Ethan. Now Raiders in front, shoots. Just high. Rebound open. Goes around the other side. Raiders in front. Bashed around. Now Alessia chipped it around. For Micah. Micah goes. Tries to get it. Raiders fighting for it at center. Stolen by Grizzlies captain. Gets it. Just into the Raiders zone. Raiders with it. Gets it up. Raiders. 2-on-2. Raiders come in. Now Grizzlies come in their zone. Chips it to Beckett. Just missed. Now the Raiders gets it in. Stolen by Miguel. Miguel skating up the other way. Raiders chip it back in. Now Luke chips it. That's going to be icing.
I'll just give it my dad
Face off in the Grizzlies zone. Face off. Won by the Raiders. Raiders chips it in. For Bradley. Bradley gives it up. Now Harris chips it. Tries to get Miguel. Miguel backhands it. Now the Raiders chip it into the Grizzlies zone. Stolen by Bradley. Bradley for the Grizzlies. Chips it. Couldn't get to it. Now the Raiders behind the Grizzlies net. Tries to get it in front. Couldn't. Raiders in front. Chipped up by Harris. Miguel gets it. Couldn't get it. Now the Raiders with it. Comes in. Falls. Now Harris stole it. Tries to get it to Miguel. Couldn't. Now Harris again. Chipped it. Beckett fighting for it. Beckett. Now there's Raiders coming in. Shoots. Saved by Kellen. Rebounds. Just missed. Harris. Now the Raiders chip it in front. Doesn't make it. Raiders. Backhander just missed. Now the Raiders. Couldn't get it. Now Raiders in front. Backhander saved and he frees that. No goal for the Raiders. And face off down Grizzlies zone. Won by the Raiders. Raiders behind the Grizzlies net. Tries to chip it. Couldn't. Gets in front. Doesn't get to it. Now Taylor chips it. Staying by the Raiders. Raiders shoots it. Just missed. Now Bryce chips it for Denzel. Denzel fighting for it is Bryce. And now Raiders shoots. Saved by Kellen. Right. And now the Raiders comes. Checked. Ryland fighting for it. Taylor fighting for it. Taylor. Now the Raiders shoot. That's going to be freezed by Kellen. New line out for the Grizzlies. Face off down the Grizzlies zone. Won by the Grizzlies. Alessia chipped it up. Bladen tried to grab it. Fighting for it is the Raiders in the corner with Alessia. Alessia pinned the Raiders so well. Fighting for it. Now Miles gets it to Luke. Luke gives it to Bladen. Raiders fighting for it at their own line. Now it's Luke. Luke chips it for Miles. Stolen by the Raiders. Now back to Luke. Luke ices it. That's going to be ice. That's going to be an icing against the Grizzlies. Face off down the Grizzlies zone. Won by the Grizzlies. Grizzlies chipped it up. Raiders with the steal. Shoots high, and Kellen will hold on to that. Face off down the Grizzlies zone again. Won by the Grizzlies. Fighting for it. Luke chips it up. That's it to Bladen. Bladen gets it, fighting for it. Chips it towards the net. Raiders fighting for it. Luke turns, shoots, just saved with the pad by the goalie. Miles chips it up. Raiders try to go through. Doesn't get to it. Now the Raiders are there. Raiders backhand it. Doesn't get anywhere. The Raiders fighting for it, and the Grizzlies behind the Grizzlies there. Now Raiders chip it. Now Luke's getting away with it. Luke going with it. Goes around one player, goes around two, goes around three. In front of the net. Gets back is Alessia. Alessia chips it in. Raiders with the steal. Raiders. Get back. The Raiders come in. Don't get to it. Stolen by Ethan. Stolen by the Raiders. Fighting for their defense. Now the Raiders chip it in behind the Grizzlies net. Now shoots by the Raiders didn't go anywhere. Now Beckett coming in. Check. Now Raiders. Grizzlies trying to skate up with it. And now Luke gives it to Miles. Beckett tries to get to the net, couldn't get to it. Raiders chip it up. Now comes to Bradley. Bradley shoots high, just hits the side of the net. The goalie for the Raiders is doing way better than in the first period. Face off won by the Grizzlies, but the Raiders with the steal chips it up. Raiders chipped in by Harris. Miguel fighting for it. Now Raiders chipped it up. Raiders chips it in behind Bradley. Now Raiders behind the net. Turns around, shoots, saved by Kellen. Raiders get it. Bradley fighting for it. Bradley gets it to Miguel. Miguel chips it up. Beckett standing for it. Beckett goes. Now they're stolen by the Raiders. Raiders try to chip it up. Now it's Bradley. Chips it. Tries to get it for Beckett. And it's no. No icing. Raiders going in 3-on-2. Loses the puck. Gives time for them to come back. Now Raiders send it in behind the Grizzlies net. Grizzlies fighting for it. Grizzlies give it to their D. Stolen by the Raiders. Raiders chip it back. Denzel fighting for it. Denzel. Is it? Raiders shoot. Saved by Kellen. Face off. Down in the Grizzlies zone. Face off won by the Raiders. Raiders chip it up. Hendrick fighting for it. Hendrick goes after the Raiders player. Grabbed. Raiders. Giveaway. Ryland chips it in for Hendrick. Hendrick fighting for it. Denzel fights for it. Now the Raiders come the other way. And Raiders come. Raiders pass in front, blocked by Taylor. Taylor chips it. Denzel fights for it. Denzel fighting in the corner. Gets it to Taylor. Taylor behind her. And now the Raiders they regroup. And now stolen by Hendrick. Hendrick coming in for the Grizzlies, chips it in. Minute left in the period. Raiders chip it around. Gives it to Ryland. Ryland shoots low, tipped in, just missed. Raiders chip it up. Blocked by Ryland. Ryland gets it in. Now Alessia. Stolen by Denzel. Denzel. That should have been a penalty for the Raiders. Now Whitemud. Now Rye comes in. Shoots. That was chopped out of his hands. And Ryland fighting for it. Tries to get it. Fighting for it. And 10 seconds left. Raiders come around with it, and that's the end of the period. And that's the end. 3-1 Grizzlies. This is a tight game. Here we go. Now, starting the third period. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Face off. Won by the Grizzlies. Cleaning back to Alessia. Alessia skating up with it. Tries to get it in, couldn't. Fighting for it is the Grizzlies. Now Ethan Tucker comes out with it. Skates in, no offside. And drops it for Miles. Miles chips it in for Ethan. Ethan looking. Couldn't get it. Luke, one-timer, didn't get anywhere. Now Bladen chips it around. Blocked. Bladen to Miles. Miles gets it back for Bladen. Bladen in front. Just misses Ethan Tucker. Now Raiders chip it up. Alessia gets it over, and now the Raiders skate away with it. Shoots, saved by Kellen, fended off really well. Now Miles loses an edge. Raiders fighting for it. Here comes Bladen. Bladen chips it over. Couldn't get to it. Now Raiders iced it. Doesn't get anywhere because the goalie stops it there. Alessia fighting for it. Alessia fights for it. Fighting the Raiders. Raiders in front. Backhander saved by Kellen. Rebound scores. Now it's a one-goal game for the Raiders. This is getting to a close game. Grizzlies need to get one here. 3-2 Grizzlies. Here we go. Grizzlies win the face-off at center. Now Raiders chip it in. Michael lost an edge. Now Beckett goes with it. Beckett skating in. Beckett shoots, fans on the shot, rebound. Miguel backhand it, save, rebound. He's laying on the puck. The goalie's laying on the puck. That's a save. Face off down in the Raiders zone. And face off. Won by the Grizzlies. Raiders skate away with it. Raiders coming down the other end. Raiders into the zone. Shoots. Saved by Cohen. Rebound. He's got that frozen. That's a freeze by Kellen. Face off down in the Grizzlies zone. Face off won by the Grizzlies down their own zone. Tripped up by their defense. Grizzlies skating away with it, stolen by the Raiders. Raiders fighting for it. Raiders get it to their D. Raiders goes around one player, shoots, blocked by Bradley. Now in front for the Raiders, they shoot. What a save by Kellen. And the Grizzlies chip it up. Beckett fighting for it. Beckett stick checking. Miguel fighting for it. Now Raiders come out with it. Chipped it in. Raiders. Stolen. Now Micah skates away with it. Micah skating up. Chips it in. Around. Now that's for Miguel. Miguel gets it in front. Just misses. Now Bryce. Bryce chips it in. Didn't get anywhere. Now gets it to Hendrick. Taylor chips it in. That's offside. Nothing. Face off won by the Raiders. Raiders chip it up. Raiders in center. Raiders get it in, no offside. Bryce for the Grizzlies chips it up. Doesn't get to it. Now Raiders back in their own zone, chips it up. And now Raiders get it in. That's stolen by Bryce. Bryce chips it up for Hendrick. Hendrick chips it in. Now the Raiders in their own zone. Raiders chips it in. Raiders gets it up. Stolen by Ryland. Ryland chips it in. And now Raiders going in. Raiders fighting for it. Stolen by the Grizzlies. Rice game with it. Tripped up. Now the Raiders come the other way. Raiders. Shoot. Just wide. Now stolen by the Grizzlies. Grizzlies chip it up. Stolen by Taylor. And the Raiders have it. Raiders. Pass it in front. That was blocked by Ryland. Ryland slumbering around. Now Taylor. And now the Raiders get it. Nope. Ryland has it. Stolen by the Raiders. In front. Raiders shoot. Saved by Kellen. And Raiders fighting for it with the Grizzlies. And now the Raiders come in with it. Raiders. Shoot, that was blocked. Now Raiders again. Tries to come in. That was blocked again. Now Raiders in their own zone. Nope. Passes it. Raiders fighting for it. Against their captain. Ethan Tucker for it. For the Grizzlies. Miles fighting for it. Now Ethan Tucker chips it up. Miles fighting for it. Now Ethan again. And Raiders in front. Saved by Kellen. Rebound available, but no. Now Miles chips it up. Bladen on the breakaway. In. Shoots. Scores! Touchdown! Bladen with an amazing shot. Oh my gosh. What a goal by Bladen. So this is a good game. This is a good game. 4-2 for the Grizzlies. Sure. Say Bladen got a good goal. Bladen got a good goal. Go face off, won by the Grizzlies. Grizzlies come in. Gets it across. Ethan. Shoot. Lightning, yeah. I just called them Raiders. Now passes. Now Miles shoots. That was just wide. Tucker tripped up, and that's going to be a penalty against Raiders. It's Raiders for tripping. 4-2 Grizzlies. And the Raiders will go shorthanded. And now face off in the Raiders zone. Won by the Raiders. Raiders come around with it. They shoot it up. Middle. Blocked by Beckett. Ryland shoots. And it was offside. Oh, hand pass. Face off just outside of the Raiders zone. Now the Grizzlies win it. Now Micah ships it in. Chasing for it is Miguel. Miguel fighting for it with the Raiders. Now Beckett chips it in front. Fighting for it is Grizzlies. Gets it to Miguel. Miguel backhanded just misses wide. Now Beckett gets it to Bradley. Bradley passes it across. Ryland shoots. Tipped just high. Now the Raiders. Giveaway. Ryland shoots. Hits the Raiders goalie. Now Raiders chip it up. Now Bradley for the Grizzlies. Gets it to Miguel. Miguel skating in. Miguel goes in. And Micah gets him. Now Bradley. And it's cleared by the Raiders. And Bradley gets it to Denzel. Denzel. Denzel fighting for it. Raiders down. Now chips it up. Now Bradley for the Grizzlies. And now Denzel. Denzel comes around with it. Denzel going through the Raiders. Raiders chip it up. Raiders ice it. And now Harris gets it. And now the Grizzlies captain tries to chip it up. And now Harris for the Grizzlies. And now Denzel chips it in for the Grizzlies. Now Luke cuts in front, backhander, saved. No rebound on that one. 7 minutes left in the period. And face off, won by Miles. And now Raiders chip it up. Can get to it. Alessia fighting for it. Ethan chips it in. Now the Raiders in their own zone. Raiders try to chip it. Stolen by Bladen. Bladen backhands it. Now the Raiders going up the other way. Raiders gets it across. Raiders shoot. Saved by Kellen. Rebound. Just chipped away. That was amazing save by Kellen. Now Raiders fighting for it. And now Grizzlies captain comes out with it. Luke comes in. Shoots. That was blocked, and that was probably a painful one there. Bladen. Now the Raiders chip it up. Alessia chips it in, and the Raiders steal it. Raiders in their own zone. Raiders chip it down. Raiders go through, shoots, scores! Raiders score, and it's 4-3 Grizzlies. Grizzlies. Can the Grizzlies hold on to this so they can win it? And face off at center. Face off, won by the Grizzlies for Micah. Micah goes with it. Has Beckett with him. Micah tries to get around the Raiders. Now the Raiders go the other way. Raiders come the other way. Raiders chip it in. And that was blocked away by the goalie. And now the Raiders tried to get him in front. They can't. Raiders come around with it. Raiders swerve around. The Raiders in front, and that was goalie freezed it. And face off down in the Grizzlies zone. And the face off won by the Grizzlies. Now Ryland skates around with it. Gives it to Micah. Micah fighting for it. Gives it to Beckett. Beckett goes with it. Beckett, the assistant captain, comes in. Beckett, backhander, that was tripped up, and that's a penalty against the Raiders. Now Miguel fighting for it. Miguel gives it to DeLong. DeLong shoots, and that was touched by the Raiders, and the Raiders have a penalty. Raiders will go shorthanded. Okay, Raiders going shorthanded. Face off down their zone. Raiders behind their own net. Chips it up. Pass it up. Bradley with the steal. Chips it back in. Denzel fighting for it. Stolen. Hendrick in front. Raiders go away with it. Raiders come away with it. Raiders skating away. Raiders fought for it. And now the Grizzlies chip it up. Gives it to their captain, Luke. And then Grizzlies chip it in. Hendrick comes in. Hendrick gives it away. Now Grizzlies fighting for it. Now the Raiders come away with it. Raiders come away with it. Tries a short-hander, but they couldn't get to it. Raiders. Chipped away. Raiders. In front. Shoots, just fanned on it. Now their captain, Luke. Luke comes in. Luke comes in, tries to get in front, couldn't get to it. Luke has it again. And Raiders come away with it. And then it's a 2-on-3. And Raiders come away with it. Shoot in, that was blocked. Bradley chips it up. Couldn't get to it. And now it's for the Grizzlies. Grizzlies behind their own net. Grizzlies chip it up. Now Beckett for the Grizzlies chips it. Now the Grizzlies come away with it. Luke Tucker chips it up. And now Luke again with it. Their captain. Luke comes in with it. He was hooked up there. Now Ethan Tucker in front. Couldn't get a shot away. Now Beckett shoots. Tries to center actually. And now the Raiders penalty is done. Raiders. And they come into the Grizzlies zone. Shoots and that was blocked. And then Harris sends it up. 2 minutes left. 4-3 Grizzlies. And Miles gets pushed down. Raiders coming in. And that's a penalty against penalty. Oh no, offside for the Raiders. Real close game. Let's go, Grizzlies! And face off won by the Grizzlies. Grizzlies chipped it up. Now Raiders with the steal. Raiders coming in. Checked by Micah. They chipped it in. Now Rylan around with it. Rylan with it. And now the Raiders have it. Chip it around. Raiders behind the Grizzlies net. Raiders fighting for it. And Raiders fighting for it. Chipped it in front and Kellen has it. 2 minutes left. Let's go, Grizzlies! And face off down the Grizzlies zone. And now the Grizzlies chip it up. Now Raiders stolen by Miles. Drops it to the D. Rylan chips it up for Miles. Miles gives it to Miguel. Partial breakaway. Miguel gets it again. Miguel goes around, tripped up. No penalty for that one. Now the Raiders go. Raiders try to get through the rope. They couldn't. Now Bryce skates away with it. Bryce fighting for it. 1:30 left. And now Raiders go with it. Now Grizzlies come away with it. Miguel tries to steal it. Raiders coming in. Raiders shoot off the mask. That was a good save by Kellen. Grizzlies come the other way. Miles, assistant captain, rushing in. Miles comes in. Miles with an amazing backhand. It is 5-3 Grizzlies. Grizzlies have an amazing lead. 4 seconds left. Face off at center. Face off. Won by Beckett. Back to Luke. Luke chips away. No icing. Raiders come around with it. Raiders. Going around 40 seconds. Hendricks chips back in. And Raiders fighting for it. Taylor shoots it. Just missed wide. Now Raiders come the other way. Trying to chip it up. Now Luke chips it back in. No icing. Raiders. 25 seconds left. Raiders. Come in. Pass it across. That was blocked. Raiders with 20 seconds left. Could they get it? Alessia skating down. And that's a penalty by Luke. Penalty for the Grizzlies. 16 seconds left. And Grizzlies with 16 seconds left. Grizzlies in the room. The Grizzlies win the opening face-off. Pushed down by the Raiders. Raiders with 10 seconds left. See the corner rebound. Again, rebound. See the guy coming. He'll freeze it. 5 seconds left. 5 seconds left. Grizzlies have this one in the back. Grizzlies with 5 seconds left. Grizzlies leading by 2. And now Grizzlies win the opening face-off. 1. Grizzlies win against the hardest team in the league. Grizzlies with an amazing win. Grizzlies win it. Grizzlies win it. And the Grizzlies win it. What a win by the Grizzlies. With the finish by Bladen and Miles. Bladen with the game-winning goal. What a win by the Grizzlies. Way to play. Grizzlies with an amazing win over the Lightning. Grizzlies win it.
They have room on their side.
Good job, guys.
Just rubbing up next time.
Good job, Miguel. Good job, Luke. Good job, Paris. Good job, Kellen. You did amazing. Good job. Good job, Beckett. Good job, Miles. Nice goal. Good job, Bryce.